I'm Rob Reiner, and for the next half hour, I'll be appearing on your VCR not as an actor or a director, but as a father, which is a lot more rewarding than those other two roles, and a lot harder. So any of you parents or prospective parents who are nervous about your ability to raise a healthy child who achieves his or her potential, just know that you are not alone. My wife and I, we have two little boys, and I know how scary being a new parent can be. So the first bit of advice I have for you is just relax. All parents have felt the way you're feeling right now. But you should also feel excited because startling new scientific discoveries have given us insight about the emotional and intellectual development of a child and what we as parents can do during those first 3 years of life to affect what kind of person he or she will turn out to be.
I am your child. Whatever I know, I learn from you. Whatever I do, you taught me to do. I am your child.
A newborn child, just 1 day old. The first day of an amazing journey that begins deep within the brain. For 9 months, your baby's brain has been growing at an astounding rate. Now in place, a network of more than 100 billion nerve cells growing and connecting with other cells. Cells that control all her thinking, movement, and senses. From the moment your baby is born, his brain is incredibly active and growing minute by minute. In fact, over 90% of brain growth happens in the first 3 years. And the way it grows is through experience.
In the process of making that 100 billion neurons, and each one of those neurons making hundreds of more connections, nerve cells are activated because there's been some sort of stimulation from the outside world.
And in the beginning, your baby's world is you.
If you provide consistent, predictable, nurturing, and enriched experiences for little infants, little babies, that has profound impact on how their brain organizes and how they function when they get older.
What are those experiences? And what can you do to make sure that your baby's getting what she needs? New science has discovered that your opportunities start a lot earlier than you might think, and that healthy brain connections depend on healthy human connections. The moment of birth, and the birth of relationships that will shape your baby's world forever. Right from the start, babies are ready to make contact. A newborn can be super alert from the minute he's born. Eyes wide, face searching, all senses tuned. To recognize and capture the most important people in his life, his parents.
Hi, baby.
And parents are ready to respond.
It's you and me, compete.
Dr. Barry Brazelton shows a mother that her day-old infant prefers her voice.
You're deserting me.
You're gonna go to your mommy, aren't you?
That's right. Look
And
what
mom
she
can't help but be affected.
He turns to her.
No.
That's wonderful.
It's the same with fathers, too.
Hi, Nicholas. Hi, Nicholas.
Doctor and dad compete,
Nicholas. There you go.
and guess who wins? It's the beginnings of what's called attachment. The bonding that science now knows is the most critical factor in a baby's development.
Parents who fall in love with little children have children who fall in love with their parents. And the beginning of the love relationship between parents and their children is probably the most important thing that parents do.
Research has shown that a child who early on forms a secure attachment to at least one caregiver learns faster, feels better about herself, makes friends more easily. Throughout his life, he'll do better in so many ways. What can you do to bond with your baby? In the first few months, one of the most important things is touch. In ways science has begun to discover, touching your baby affects her on the deepest levels of brain and body chemistry. In fact, doctors who work with premature infants have found that touch is an important therapy in helping these babies thrive.
Look at that.
He's a happy baby.
Regular, gentle massage will help your child, too, to handle stress, form stronger attachments,
You're loving this.
and it will actually go a long way towards building a healthier brain.
He's a good boy.
It's like exercising a muscle, and with the appropriate pattern of smiling and touching and feeding, there are parts of that baby's brain that are being stimulated and that are being exercised, that are being grown, so that when that child gets older, it will be very capable of loving other people.
So cuddle your baby as often as you can. Don't overstimulate. Be gentle and responsive to the cues he's giving you back. With the right start, you can stay in touch for the rest of their lives. Many people think that before she can talk, you and your child can't really communicate.
But the reality is, the vast majority of our communications and the vast majority of the way we both perceive other people's intention and communicate our intentions is nonverbally. And infants literally are communicating from the moment they're born.
You just have to know how to look and listen. Your baby will tell you what he likes and what's bothering him. A simple yawn may not be so simple after all. Your baby might be tired, but it also might be a signal that he's overloaded and trying to shut out the stimulation. If you're watching, your child will give you so many cues.
If I could do one thing for every new parent, it would be to capture her or him, to read the baby's behavior as his or her language. For instance, when a baby looks up in your face, you know that baby is saying, give me back something, talk to me, cuddle me, pick me up and love me. And so every time you read a baby appropriately, they give you back a signal. That was what I wanted.
Cries communicate too. Scientists have found that there are several distinct types of cries that mean very different things. You'll come to learn them from your own baby, like the cry that says, I'm hungry, and the one that says, I'm really in pain. Literally a cry for help.
You think we should get the baby?
There's even a cry that asks for attention and interaction. It's just as important as the others. And far from spoiling your baby, responding to this special request is critical. Babies go through several states of consciousness during the day. Watch for the quiet but alert look on your child's face. That's the best time to play. And that's exactly what your baby wants to do.
What are you thinking about?
A child's need to communicate is just as vital as any physical need. Your baby wants to feel that someone cares and understands, that he's connected. Just watch this amazing experiment.
In the face-to-face paradigm, you have an infant, in this case around 3 or 4 months of age, and a parent who's looking directly into the face of the child.
Twinkle, twinkle, little
The mother is responding with her voice, with her face, with eye contact to the baby's responses. Now, if you watch how the baby locks into the mother's face right there, and then will respond with an arousal that's exactly proportional to what the mother's doing.
Twinkle, twinkle, little.
Now, when we ask the mother to have a blank expression, watch how the baby's behavior becomes disorganized. Her arms move, she pulls things, tries to get herself calmed, but it doesn't work. This lack of response disconnects the mother from the infant. Now, notice that when the mother begins to express herself in response to the baby, there's a reconnection that occurs. And you can see this kind of circle of communication that occurs, a kind of dance of attunement. And these attunements that happen are extremely important for the development of the brain.
Moments like these between parent and child do so much for a baby.
Well, you know, if you hold a small baby, a newborn baby, and hold him right and then start talking to him, you'll see his eyes widen, his whole face will soften.
Can you do that with your tongue? Yeah.
When a baby goes ooh to you and you go ooh back, you're saying to him, you're important, and he knows it. And I think the recent research on brain development shows that this kind of interaction, which causes a response in him and shows how important it is to him, is hitting some pathways that the baby is going to reinforce. And they're going to get richer and richer and richer.
That's my boy. That's my...
Believe it or not, this dance between you is also getting your baby ready to speak.
Wanna call Grandma?
At birth, a child is wired to learn any language on earth.
She said, Mama.
She said, Mama.
He learns his particular tongue through exposure
Papá es una
and imitation.
persona muy especial.
But language isn't just a collection of words. It's a far more complex mix of inflections, tones, and rhythms as well.
The rhythm of speech and language is critically important for providing this patterned organization of the brain as an infant grows into toddlerhood.
Way up in the sky, the little birds fly.
So we are literally rhythm-bound organisms. It's like the roots of a tree, and music organizes the roots because you have a strong, healthy root that allows someone to later on be able to think in an abstract way.
So sing to your baby in the simple words and rhythms he'll respond to.
The Muffin Man who lives on Corey Lane.
There you go.
Talk to your baby
Hello.
early and often.
Gotta pull over your head. Hi, Sorty.
Tell her what you're doing,
Oh, you did good.
Wanna push that one together?
how you're feeling.
Okay.
Talk your way through the day.
You wanna do that one?
Sailed on a river of crystal light.
Read to your baby.
Do.
Make it interactive.
Do you like bananas?
Well, they have strings and...
They have strings in them.
When she gets older, ask her questions.
This little baby has eyes and a nose. Look, honey. See his feet? A tickle.
Encourage her to get involved.
Yeah.
And don't mind if she wants you to read her favorite story over and over.
Diaper change, face
Children
clean,
learn
too.
by repetition
You see?
and love the comfort of the predictable and familiar. You and your baby can communicate in so many ways. Ways that will set the stage for her growth and the growth of understanding between you. A healthy baby is the first thing every parent hopes for. And good health begins long before birth.
Let's take a look. There's the baby's heart beating.
Both physically and emotionally, the fetus is largely dependent on its mother. Her diet,